Good day, everybody. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Heleniq Argeru. Today I am going to be broadcasting a really special interview and a follow-up masterclass thought leader called Dr. Angelica Benavides. Now, this is a part of the Truth Marketing New Style Summit. We didn't want to drain people and tire them with these ongoing conferences that we see happening all the time now because everybody's gone online. So what we're doing instead is giving you a chance to meet the experts first in an interview and then to listen to a really great masterclass where they teach you a strategy that is authentic, where you can show up as your genuine true self and where in fact you get aligned in your business and in your entrepreneurship journey. Now, some of you might be pushed into becoming entrepreneurs because of the current times. Maybe you've always wanted to, and this is really your lucky moment. Or maybe you're there already and you're not sure what to do right now, whether you should pivot, redirect your business to another market, or start all over again, or position things kind of differently. All of these experts that we have on our Truth Marketing Summit are going to help you think about new, interesting ways that you can explore the options. And each of them are teaching methods that they've actually used already. And these are ones that you can experiment with or explore during this time and maybe get some really brilliant results. So if you're interested, you can definitely watch out for all the postings on the different platforms. You'll see me on Heleniq A talking a lot about the different ways that you can maximize this experience by actually getting onto these masterclasses and then learning from each of these amazing people. There's also a Facebook group called Women of Truth Yin. This is for women entrepreneurs or business builders who are interested in working in a more concentrated way with support, with sisterhood, with great partnerships. Because I really believe that if you have the right woman in your corner, you can do many, many things. And this is a chance then for you to actually join up with the membership inner circle and actually develop your movement, your project, your business, your book, whatever it is that gets you out into the world with your message and with the deeper meaning, mission, and purpose that you are here to serve humanity with. So let's get started. We are now on YouTube because we couldn't stream on the Facebook page. So for those of you who are not sure where to find this video on Facebook, you'll know that sometimes if that happens, we need to get back onto YouTube and then we can showcase the work there. And of course, if you are on YouTube and you're not sure sometimes if you'll see one more of these, you need to go to my actual Facebook personal page because that's normally where I am streaming these events. So if you think a little bit more about where you are in your life right now, I want to give you a special message that came to me after a meditation this morning. And it's something I started realizing is way more important than business or work or maybe even anything in the world. In our lives, there is an opportunity to actually step up and level ourselves to a higher vision and a higher purpose for our lives. And of course, then our work becomes a radiant path, a way of radiating out into the world more and to become more of who we are destined to be in the world. So my very special morning brought me this message that I want to share with you, which is all about looking at this training we're going to do today and generally at yourself in your life, in your work, in the way you play, the way you connect, the way you meet yourself in the mirror reflections of everything going around with deeper love. Because the insight that came this morning was that actually it's not so easy for us to motivate ourselves and create better results when we come from fear. It's in fact very problematic when we do that because we go into all kinds of desperate decision making. We attract things that also have fear in them. We might make choices that are not really honoring a higher part of ourselves. And so my message to you today is that self-care and wanting to be improving yourself in the world or wanting to be of service or making good friendships, whatever it is that we're busy with in life, is nothing other than a deeper expression of a deeper love with ourselves. Because if you really think about it, all of what we're talking about on the Truth Marketing Summit and all of what everybody's struggling, rambling around right now to try and figure out in the world is this bigger commitment we need to have to ourselves showing up in the world or seeing ourselves in others in the world in a healthier way, a stronger way, a more harmonious way, a more honest way, a more respectful way with the planet, everything that we use, everything we consume. So if anything, it's a deeper love, a way of being able to love ourselves more honestly and more deeply and more truthfully loving ourselves. So we want these things for ourselves because we love and respect ourselves. And when you can get in touch with that, you'll see it totally pivots the way you do a collaboration or the way that you make a decision or the way that you decide to invest in yourself, learn a new skill, because you start to understand that it's about loving yourself more and then loving the other just as much, that they also can show up in a way that's more loving for themselves when they are then working with you and collaborating with you. So I want us to all keep this in mind today because the content is really quite special. It's an opportunity for us to learn from a leadership expert. Dr. Angelica Benavides is none other than a special needs leadership expert, and she is running prolific summits, really big events with leaders from all around the world, and mainly in Spanish. She attracts very interesting groups of people, and also then in English. She runs them as well in English. And she has been through many different challenges in her life, and she's a survivor, a true warrior of the times, born to lead and support people in this great change that we are going through. And I'm supporting her and supporting you to also realize the greatness of your time of great change. Because this is where, as I say, when you step up and start to deeply love yourself more, and that is the reason why you do what you do, you will see that there is something really, really powerful waiting to explode, waiting to unravel, waiting to become whole in you. And see her method today, the unified strategy that sells, as an opportunity to find people in the world that are going to support you to love yourself at this level. And these are the kinds of people that I call power partners. It's something we teach in the inner circle. How do you now create fine-tuned networks, people that are really behind you with your bigger vision for yourself, the ones that are going to be truthful to you, the ones that are going to refer you to people that can really help you with your business, your movement, your vision, your mission, your project, whatever it is, and people that are really, really there for you. So as we get started now, you'll hear my introduction where I share with you her accolades and her expertise, and we'll take it away with Dr. Angelica Benavides. Good day, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Heleniq, and we are in a Truth Marketing New Style Summit, joined by some experts like my guest today, Dr. Angelica Benavides, who is a transformational leader, trainer, speaker, consultant, and author, and in fact, a masterful summit host, somebody who really practices distributional leadership and presents many wonderful projects out into the world, both in Spanish and English. Dr. Angelica Benavides is a recognized authority on the psychology of performance and personal development, learning organizational turnarounds, and has served as an advisor to leaders around the world. Today, she's actually teaching us a unified strategy that sells. And if you want to go back and watch her interview, you can get an idea about her own personal positioning on entrepreneurship, leadership, and business in general. And then today, you will actually learn this very powerful strategy from her. Thank you so much for joining me, Dr. Angelica. Tell us, what can people look forward to today in this masterclass?
Well, thank you for having me here. And today, really what people will be learning, and I think it's a very important concept, is the unified conscious strategy that sells. And the reason that we're talking about unified consciousness is because we are in that era where you have to be and practice like self-awareness. You have to have this inner guidance. You know, it's not just showing up and doing things anymore. You have to be very intentional. The world is drastically changing. There's a lot of chaos going on. So how do we serve? So we have to come in, and not only in the mindset of selling, but how do we come together as individuals, as entrepreneurs, and reach more people? Because I think that in this time of you know, the situation that we're in, we need to deliver our message, and we need to be able to touch more lives faster and more intentional and very deep. Because there's people right now, they're experiencing loss, they're experiencing grief, and how do we deliver that message? So to begin with, you know, I just want to talk about that your message matters. And it's really important that you know that your message matters. And we all had an experience in life that was a big challenge, and that is your story that matters. That is the story that turned your life around, and people need to know it. So a business plan would come in place. Like, how do you take that story, right? That powerful story that you have, you build it into your business plan, and you build a strategic partnership plan, because your message is bigger than you. And you cannot deliver this message alone. So you're going to have to partner up with other people so that you can deliver that message. I mean, just like we are here, you know, Heleniq and these wonderful speakers, we come together to deliver a special message, yet we can't do it alone. And in truth marketing is what Heleniq is actually practicing, that conscious, unified conscious way of selling. And it's not just about selling, but it's about influence. You know, how do you influence? How do you impact? How do you take a person to take action? You know, it's not just about receiving information, but now during these times of crisis and need and service, we need to be able to deliver, but have actionable influence, you know, have people take action when you deliver something. So there's something crucial that you need to know, and it's defining the critical success factors. Like, what do they look like? You have to know, where are you right now and where are you headed? And not only do you know where you are and where do you want to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years, but you need to know, where are you taking your client? You know, the person you're serving, where do you want to take them? It's really important that you always understand, where are they and where do they want to be, whether it's in 6 months or a year. And for you to actually use subconscious communication. You see, if you don't believe that your client is going to be successful, if you don't believe that you're going to be able to influence and impact and transform lives, your client knows it at a subconscious level, that sometimes they'll choose not to do business with you. Because, you know, I always say that we tune in to our own energy. We tune in into that subconscious communication, that people read the body. They read your stance. They read how you're speaking, you know, if you're hesitant, if you're in doubt when you're saying something. So you have to be in alignment with your client, with your spirit and your soul of what do you believe in? What do you really value so that you could really deliver that message, you know? So there's a congruency that has to be within you in alignment with thought, action, and emotions. And then intentional transformation, you have to be very intentional. You know, what are those steps that need to be taken? And being able to guide people through it. And again, I'm going to repeat it over and over. You're going to hear me during this whole time. Increase awareness. Like, be so aware what you're feeling, what you're thinking. Be aware of what your client is thinking, believing, and feeling, and emotions, so that you can actually connect. Because you see, a lot of people believe, Heleniq, and those that are listening, they believe that there's a lot of competition. And I don't believe in competition. I believe that you are a unique being, and you have a unique story, you have a unique message, you have a style that it's only you. You're the only person that can serve and deliver that talent and that gift that you have. No one else but you. So if you're listening to this and you've been wanting to expand your business, or you've been wanting to reinvent who you are and how you show up in the world, find that unique being, that unique gift that you have. And that's what I call the soul signature. You know, we have a gift that we were born with, and not until you tap into it, it's like, it's when you're going to blossom, you know, and everything's just going to spread. So I just challenge you to kind of go within. Now the world waits for you. So you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. It's not comfortable showing up, you know, even here, like I have experience talking in front of people, and yet there's always this little feeling of being nervous, and it's like, am I going to say the right thing? You know, there's doubts that happen because we're all human. People are waiting for you. And you have to know that they're waiting for you. So if you don't show up, you are doing an injustice, because someone will not transform. Someone will not reach that next level of that impact because you are not showing up for them. Now, you have to gain more visibility and more exposure. And we're going to be talking about how are you going to do that? Because like I said, the world needs you. Right? So, like I said, you have a powerful message. So what was your life before? You always have to think, like, before I was here, I had a lot of chaos happening in my life. So that's that unified consciousness. It's like bringing your whole being, your who you were, how you move through the process, and how did you become who you are. Right? So we all pivot. And when we pivot and we kind of reach that next level, it's like we're always in these stages of life constantly. It's like, but you have to really figure out those aha moments. You see, John Maxwell says, sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. So when you are learning, those are your aha moments. It's when you have to discover and say, what am I learning in this chaos? Right? And then how did I get out of it when you did get out of it, or how can I move out of where I'm at? So those are the baby steps that you look for, and how you did it, or how can you do it so that you can start sharing, because people need your guidance. So you need to share you now. It doesn't matter what stage you're at, because you have to remember there's different phases of life, and someone else is in that baby phase where you were maybe 3 years, 5 years ago. They're living it now. So that is the unified consciousness again. There is this big consciousness, this huge, I call it like a globe, right? That we're all experiencing and that we're on in, and that you just have to tap into it and figure out, okay, where am I? Where was I? Where is someone else in that conscious field? and help them. So there's influential action that I've been talking about. You know, you have to take action. You have to tap into your soul signature, like I mentioned. Like, what are your gifts? What are your talents? What do you always talk about constantly? What tragic moments that you have? Because that is part of your signature. You know, it leaves imprints in our lives that is who you are. You know, like, for example, I suffered from cancer, and I was very close to dying. So that is my signature, you know, that I have a story to tell about life and death, about triumph, right? About being in a domestic violence situation where it was verbal. That is my signature. So then how did I overcome it? So that is my story. That is what I need to share with people. So it's the power of the subconscious mind. It's being able to really go within, inside you, because no one else. Yes, we all need coaches. I have coaches. I'm sure Heleniq has a coach. Everybody has a coach, and you should have a coach and a mentor. But at the end, it's about them taking you back inside you and discovering, who am I? Who do I want to serve? How do I want to serve? What are my tools? Because it's all about tools and strategies and techniques that you have that you can help others overcome their challenges. So it's going within inside. And then being able to communicate from the subconscious level. You'll hear me say that over and over again. Because when we speak from the subconscious level, we're speaking from memory, stories that we tell ourselves, beliefs, and values. So what are they? You have to know what they are in order to make changes within yourself and within others. And then always speak your truth. You know, be honest with your client. Be honest with people that you're speaking to. Sometimes you might not know the answers, and it's okay not to know them. It's okay to be transparent and tell people, that is an amazing question, you know, or speak your truth. Like, if you did suffer a certain circumstance or issue, then stand up and speak it. You know, don't hold back. Don't hold back. So then the important thing is scale, right? Scale our business. How do you scale your business? How do you deliver that message? How do you get the world to really get to know you? And I talk about collaborate with other experts. Like, that is my number one strategy that I use. And you will hear me say it over and over again. You have to collaborate with other experts. You know, and a lot of times people feel like, oh no, it's my competition. They're not your competition, because you are unique, you. And we're all different. The way that we package our offers, the way that we help people, it is completely different. You know, one of the steps that I use a lot is like become an author with somebody else, like write a book, right? And I just finished writing a book with 18 authors. It's collaborate, write an anthology, tell your story. And then, you know, when we were writing this book, it was very healing for a lot of the authors, because they tapped into their old stories. And then at the same time, they were able to heal. They were able to figure out and pinpoint the steps that they took and help others transform. Being able to write a book with somebody else, it's like you cross-promote and you help each other. Now, the second step, when you're joining joint ventures with other people, you can create a challenge. You could do what Heleniq is doing right now. She created the Truth Marketing Summit, which is very powerful, because every person participating here has some message to deliver. So create a challenge, a mini course, a master class, something where together you build something. And I think the third step is building a community on other people's stages is really important, but you do it with respect. You do it with elegance. It's like you throw up into different platforms, but you're there not to take clients away. You're there to say, how do I serve you? Like Heleniq, how can I help you? How can I help you to expand and share her message, which is true marketing. So how do we help each other? And it's not about me going in there and saying, oh, how many people can we take away and capture and bring back to my platform? No, because that's not a unified consciousness. Unified consciousness is coming together and working together. So again, how does it work? You know, the nuts and bolts. You know, you apply your talk, amplify. I say apply, but it was supposed to be amplify. Sorry. It's amplify your talk, like really niche down into how do you want to expand your talk, right? So you have to have a process. That process is really important. Pay attention to your process. How do you help your clients? It's really important. A lot of people just want to help. They want to show up and help the world. But then they don't know how. They don't know how. But everything has a system. There's a blueprint. There's a template. There's steps, you know. In order for me to help you, step one is, you know, discover your big why. So you just go through a process. So pay attention to the process that you have. Then, again, like I said, the process has steps. What are the steps? Do you have 4 steps? Do you have 5 steps? Make it simple and tell people my 5-step process is, and then make a note of how you're transforming your life. So what steps do you repeatedly take your clients through so that you become aware of what you're doing? You break down those, you know, those steps, you break down everything you're doing in bite sizes because you could overwhelm people. So what I would recommend that you do is don't try to sell like this big program with 100 steps. It's like sell a program, something, 5 steps, make it very small, and then they have their next level with you and the next level. And that way you don't overwhelm people and you actually see people making success. And then name your system. What is it called? You know, identify the tools, the blueprints, how do you support them? Name it, you know, name it. Like mine is the Soul Signature brand. So I help you tap into your brand. I help you identify your gifts. You know, I use a combination of tools and strategies and how I do that. And then you have to do the same thing. Like, how do you get people to actually name what they're doing? And then inspire people. Like, you have to use your story because your story is what is going to really make that heart connection. It's that, that unified consciousness. It's how do you connect with other people? And it's through the heart. You can stand and talk in front of people and talk about systems and strategies, but if you don't tell a story and you don't tell people where you were and where you're now, they're not going to connect. You know, they're not going to put the puzzles together. So frame your promise. Like, what do you promise people? You know, when you're talking, and like I can promise you here, like if you're truly, truly connected to your intuition, you see, we all have a GPS. We were all born with a GPS, and you have to connect to that GPS and really determine the values, determine what you believe in, and your message, and then you deliver it and you connect with somebody, you will inspire. You will get people to say, yes, I want to participate. I want to do what you're doing. I want to watch your program, your podcast, or they want to interview you or something because you are really making a difference in people's lives. So, and then you need to label your steps. Like I skipped it, but that one goes after steps. You label your steps And I recommend that any steps that you're doing, because you see there's this unified consciousness that I keep talking about. We all have similar images in our inner consciousness. We have images, we have certain beliefs. So if you use your steps and you use them in images and you create graphic organizers and you really simplify things, people will connect. When they see an image, it's like, oh, I get it. It's because it makes it simple. A lot of times words confuse people, but if you put an image up, it's like, oh, I get it, you know? So use images as much as possible. And sorry, it's gonna take me to the whole thing because I was supposed to, there. Okay, so key partners, who will help you, you know? You need to be able to go and cross promote, go find people. A lot of times you want to find people within your same niche. Like if they're all about mindset or if they're all about health. And I believe that that's not necessary. Like in this book, I have all types of experts, you know, from branding to sales, all sorts of experts. I connect with people on mindset. I connect with people on health. Right now, I'm connecting with people on domestic violence. I'm connecting with people on breast cancer. Of course, they're all within my interests, but it's like in different fields of joint ventures. So kind of look and see how you can support other people and see how you can support them. Now, the advantages are that you access new markets and new networks. You increase your visibility. You're sharing the risk and the cost, especially when you're paying for funnels or advertisements and stuff like that. You'll share that type of risk. You access specialized knowledge and expertise. Like what I always tell people, don't try to know everything because you don't. Instead, you know, like Dee Casio and Anthony Robbins say, it's like, try to promote the knowledge broker, right? Like you get different people that have their different expertise, and then you bring them in so that you can share a message and it can be stronger, and then you attract more people. You're going to have access to greater resources. A lot of times, like there's information and things that you don't know, but by cross promoting and connecting with other people, it's like you learn from each other. And you combine marketing, promotional efforts, allows you to package micro offers. You can make money. You can do it long-term, short-term. So these are just a few of the promotions, and then market and scale. Like when you do joint ventures, like right now with Heleniq and myself, like we're really, you know, we're finding bridges to other sides of the country, like other sides of the world. Like now I'm connecting with Heleniq, I'm connecting with Australia, I'm connecting with other parts of the world that I had no idea that I could connect with people around the world and impact in a bigger way. So just 5 powerful ways to leverage. Really quick here is you create international partnerships. You share your message to the world. You create endorsement marketing. People get to know you and they begin to endorse you and saying why people should listen to you. Co-author, co-promote, and then again, expansion. Expansion is beautiful. Try to get on telesummits, web summits, because the world is big. It's not about flying and spending all this money now. Now it opened up a different platform. We're virtual just like we are now. So it's powerful. It's really powerful. And then I don't know, we can connect in so many ways. I can interview you on my platform, so reach out. My podcast, I'm trying to create a little TV show, and there's just a lot going on in my world. So if you're interested in writing an anthology, then connect. There's a lot of great challenges within joint ventures, but don't get discouraged. Look at the positive side. And I'm just going to open it up and allow Heleniq to ask me any questions. And then I'm open to receiving any questions you might have. I'm willing to answer them for you.
Thank you so much, Angelica. You spoke a lot about the power of your own message to the world, like that your message really matters. And I loved how you said that. And a lot of people nowadays are taking that a lot to heart and trying to build a business, let's say, out of something that they have personal experience in. So I wanted to ask something that I get asked quite a lot. In terms of psychology, we have lots of different ways, let's say, we can understand human behavior and we can actually be more general about something that somebody else might be going through that we haven't struggled with ourselves, let's say. So often, sometimes the message that people are getting is that they can go out there and really influence other people with their message, with their life experience. And I wondered if you could share with us what you think about the idea of doing that with everybody versus people that are specifically resonating with you or who have that specific similar challenge to you, because this is where the confusion can come in. Let's say somebody decides they're going to become a coach, and they found their soulmate, and now they decide that they want to become a coach on relationships, and they build a business around that. But then at some point they might reach a client or two or three that they can't help, and they could because of their own personal experience. What do you think about the difference then between taking your personal experience, working with people, and using that to help them versus trying to help all these different people that maybe you also don't have the skills for?
Mm-hmm. Right. I think that having the skill is really important because that's how you're going to be able to impact people's lives is by being able to really give results. I mean, people pay for the transformation. You know, they don't pay for your program, they pay for the transformation. So the question would be is what transformation can I create for this client? If the answer is like, I don't know how to create the transformation, you know, sometimes you can have those trial and error, programs where you're trying something, but you're really transparent and saying, you know what, this is my first program, you're going to be my first client, and you could give them some type of discount, and so that you have a mutual understanding that you are in the exploration phase of discovering. Because I can tell you something, like I've tried things, like marketing was my weakness, but it's become a stronger area, and I did tap into it, and I did start teaching it, and then I was learning it while I was teaching others, and I was discovering it. And still with marketing, it's like you're never going to know everything because there's always a lot to learn. So it's being able to be transparent with people. Like I said, tell the truth, telling them, I'm just starting this market. And the reason I'm starting is because I had a beautiful experience and I feel that I can help you. But we're going to learn together. And I think if you do that, it's good. But if you're trying to, it's that unconscious communication where if you're not communicating, then as you're going and building a relationship, there's doubt in you. But your client is going to pick it up. That doubt of you not knowing what to tell them or how to fix something. And then the relationship can be ruined. So I'm very bold and transparent with people. It's like, you know what, I don't know this, but let's try it. Let's try this, and I'm always trying things with my clients until we get the transformation. And even as an expert, you're always trying, so it's good to be in that position and knowing that we don't know all the answers all the time.
I think that's great.
Answers.
Yeah, that's great advice. I agree with it very much. And because we're on the Truth Marketing Summit, I think it's fair to say then that we do have a kind of responsibility to show up transparently. If we want to be truth marketeers and we want to really present ourselves authentically, then it's making a lot of sense to be able to let your client know where you really stand so that you feel comfortable exploring and experimenting with them and then learning from them. So that's a great way to do it. I know a lot of people talk about beta testing, which is something that you can explore when you are building up a new project and you're not really familiar yet with what it's going to take. Then you can actually enroll some people into that as an initial stage. Now, I know you have a background in leadership, and I wondered if you could tell people just a little bit more about how you made your transition from there to where you are now. And this way we can also get a bit of a picture of how entrepreneurship plays out in people's lives, where they end up taking very specific pivots and in their profession. A lot of people are watching right now, imagining whether they can actually really get this right, whether they can become new business owners when they never have been, or to actually change a small detail. Maybe they've got now a special message for the world and they're not always so sure how to navigate the changes. So tell us a little bit about yours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've always been in education, because that was my passion. I wanted to transform and touch lives. And that's how I got into the human development and understanding how we develop as humans and how we learn. And I'm still there. I'm slowly transitioning out into the speaking and author and publishing, company, which is what I want to do. So that's really what I want to be able to, it's like, let people know that it doesn't matter where you're at. You could still be in your 8 to 5 job, but if you like and you love, like the message that you have and you're passionate about something, it's like tap into it. There's a lot of phases in life that you're going to go through. I've always been selling something in my lifetime, like always. I remember when I was little, I would go in front of my house and I'd make lemonade and little marshmallow candies and stuff. And I've always been selling, like ever since I was young, but I've always been an educator of heart, and I've always been teaching. And I fit my nephews, because I have a lot of nephews, and I would sit them in front of me and I would be teaching them. So I think that when you go back and you trace what you've done, like all the time, then bring that into your business. If this is the first time that you're going to be doing business, bring it in, because it's in you. We were just talking about how you're trying something, even when you're creating like a funnel, like a landing page, we create variations. You create like 2 different websites to see which one is more attractive, which one people are clicking more on. So it's the same thing with you. Like when you develop your message, like play with 2 different messages and then practice and see which one people are more attracted to. And practice your message. Like actually practice speaking and creating an elevator pitch and saying it over and over and over until it's like, you connect the emotions to the words and you create a big impact, because that's what I do. It's like I practice my message.
So important to get the message from our entrepreneurs and thought leaders these days on the summits and the masterclasses that are telling us that marketing is also a dynamic journey. It's not just something you get right and then it all happens. And that's why I wanted to have women on the panel that are really presenting from their own life experience, their own way of showing up genuinely in honesty with their audiences, trying to be as transparent as possible in the marketplace and really bringing their truth to the audiences and the communities that they really want to help transform. So it's been such an important example, Angelica, to now hear you sharing what you've learned through marketing, and now that you're actually teaching it. More than that, even leveraging the whole business model of this unified strategy of working in joint ventures to actually help people present their message, have less cost, and struggle a little bit less than what they would if they were doing it all on their own and really having to support their own story. So I'm really glad people are seeing the diversity and the dynamism of marketing here in our summit. I'm going to come back to a really final point here about leadership, because I know very specialized skill in leadership, and you've in the past worked also in leading great groups of people to do many different projects, and you still do that now online. That I came across this very interesting title called VUCA. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's been very interesting for me because I think it's about the time that we're in, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. So it talks a little bit about this phrase that was first used as early as the 1980s, 1987, from a man called Warren Bennis and Bert Manus. And basically they coined this acronym, which is VUCA, and it stands for the volatility of the marketplace, the uncertainty of the marketplace, the complexity, and the ambiguity. And altogether that becomes VUCA. And apparently VUCA is really a way of training people to realize that it's kind of crazy out there. You know, there's a lot of noise in the world. There's a lot of saturation in the marketplace. Yes, there's a lot of uncertainty, and perhaps more now than ever. We have a kind of volatility out there. We don't know what's going to be happening. Things are complicated, and there's also a lot of uncertainty that creates ambiguity. So it could be this, or it could be that. And when we have this kind of environment, apparently there is a different way for us to begin to think and to lead and to take action. Because you're in the whole leadership game, I wanted to just throw it out to you and see what we can brainstorm together here, because I think it's very buried in all of the messages we're bringing on the Chief Marketing Summit. This idea that we need to start through what VUCA teaches people is to start moving away from traditional thinking systems because of the uncertainty, the complexity, the ambiguity, the volatility of many situations in the world, many workplaces in the world, and perhaps way more now than when this was actually introduced. We have to find new ways of becoming all these things that help us deal with uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, and volatility. So when you look at this whole shift that the world is going through, such an important time for us to work more in a unified way, what do you think is your best solution or your best offering, let's say, for people right now that are in a place where they are struggling with the uncertainty of their business or the future of a business, whether they should ever even get started in a time where there are no answers? What would you say to that?
Right. Well, I can honestly tell you that my big boost happened during time of uncertainty. And all the time I've gone to that next level, it has happened during times of chaos. Why? Because as a leader, you see, you have to lead others to take risk. Because action is about risk. It's about stepping into the unknown. And a lot of times when we don't move and we don't take action, it's because we want to know the results. Well, unfortunately, you're not going to know the results all the time. It's about risk taking. It's like you're going to have to take action, and you're going to have to really believe in your step. And sometimes you will be pushed over the edge and you're going to feel like you're falling, but that's why you create a support system. That's why you surround yourself with people like, Heleniq and myself and Viola and other people, great speakers that you've had. Like, you connect with people that will support you. Because if you do fall, people will pick you up, or they'll support you. You know, if you're wobbling, people will support you, and you could be very transparent and saying, yeah, I think I made a mistake, or my business is falling. But we wrote this book during when COVID hit. And the reason I created it was because I felt people need to reinvent themselves right now. The way that we were doing things is not going to happen. It's not going to work because everybody was in shutdown. Everybody had to be home. People were losing jobs. They were not getting paid. And I was like, oh, what do we do to create new opportunities, right? And help people reinvent themselves. When you read this book, I know it's in Spanish now, but it will be in English. People are telling their chaotic story and how they had to stand up and trust themselves. So as a leader, you're going to have to take risks. Like that's the number one thing. And I'm hoping that I'm kind of answering your question or your answer, because it is it's very complex times. We still sometimes can't even fully open our businesses to people. Everything has to be virtual. So how do we create hybrid models? How do we serve people in different ways, right? And how do we support each other? I think those two things: take risk, but take it when you're surrounded by people that you can really trust. And if you don't, then start building a community. Start finding communities of people that will support you, that believe in what you believe. Sometimes you want to go to family members and tell them your bright idea, and they're not going to support you. They might laugh at you and they might think it's ridiculous. But find entrepreneurs like us that we have crazy thoughts and we might laugh at it, but we still go for it. You know, it's like, you want to write a book with 18 authors? You know, my family thought I was crazy. I was like, yeah. Or, you know, you're going to go out and speak and it's COVID, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. You know, it's risk. It's a risk. I'm not saying you go do it, right? But what I am saying is, like, take a risk, because that's a leader. A leader will lead others into a path that is unknown. And then others will follow, because it's like the 4-mile marker, you know, that nobody believed that they could run that 4 miles until it was done. And then other people broke it later. So it's the same thing as a leader. Go and break that belief that people have.
So helpful. Yeah, to know that there's a way through this uncertainty, which is to find or do the work to learn to trust us a little bit, because it has something to teach us. And I'm glad you heard from Dr. Benavides here today. Really a very powerful message, that your message really does matter in the world, and people are waiting to hear something from you that they can't have from anyone else. And it's up to you to do that work, to really define your uniqueness and your clarity, and to build the kind of business that's really going to reflect who you truly are and deliver that message to others. And also really that the uncertainty is something to learn to trust and navigate, because in it you get trained perfectly to be able to take risks. And that's what business and leadership especially is all about: taking risks and even helping others take those risks with you. There's so many pearls of wisdom in this talk. I hope you go back, watch it, and look a little bit at this new strategy that Dr. Benavides is offering you. If you are interested in writing one of these collective projects with her and some other authors, you can definitely get in touch. This is a collective book project that you've heard her talking about, and you can see an example of the one already done during COVID on our Women of Truth Yin group Friday post. All you have to do is go in there, search Angelica, and you'll see there's a post with this book on a Friday, which really shares with you the possibility of getting published with other people at much less expense, but still with a very acclaimed, powerful leader like Dr. Dr. Angelica Benavides and the many and multiple projects that she runs across the globe. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been lovely sharing this time with you. I love how grounded, simple, and accessible your presentation was to us, even though your work is prolific and extensive, and really we look forward to sharing more about what you're doing in the future. And so for anybody who wants to get in touch, where can they find you, Dr. Angelica?
Well, they can find me. It's really on Facebook. Angelica, you're going to find me Angelica Benavides, Angelica Underwood, so either name would be fine. And then if you like, I can share a link with you where a QR code where they can connect.
Excellent. So you'll get that link here, but you just have to follow Dr. Angelica's name and find it on LinkedIn, Facebook, and you'll get a link there as well where you can go further and connect with her. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.